Every midnight, he woke as someone else. The first few times he blamed sleep or a forgotten drink. After a week, excuses ran out. His own room was small and plain. He worked by day and tried to sleep by night. At midnight, the air would change, a tug at the edges of him. He would open his eyes and be somewhere he had never been, a child's small hand in his. A woman's studio filled with drying canvases. A hospital bed with a beeping machine. Names stuck like burrs to his tongue. He started a notebook. He kept it under the mattress and wrote what he found. Names from pockets, broken songs. A photograph slipped between pages. The notebook grew into a strange map. It was proof against the disbelief of others. Doctors tested him with cold instruments and saw questions. The tests were polite and blank. He tried to explain and watched faces dissolve into sympathy and then into other things. He stopped telling his friends. At home, he pretended his nights were nothing but sleep. Each life left a trace. A coffee ring on a table he could not afford. A child's drawing in a drawer. A ration card folded neat and fragile. Sometimes he wore someone's wedding band for an hour and felt the shape of a home in his palm. Sometimes he woke with a scar that belonged to another man's choices. He learned to be careful. In rooms that were not his, he moved like a guest in a house of glass. He did not break dishes or read diaries he should not read. He left small anchors, a note under a saucer, a pencil on a table, a coin tucked in a book spine. He wanted to prove he had been there, and to leave something that might help the others find their way back. One rain-dark night, he woke in a cottage that smelled of lemon and mothballs. A photograph on the mantel showed a boy with a gap in his teeth. The name on the back matched the name he'd written the week before. He found a stub of pencil and wrote the name on the edge of the mantel. When he returned to his own bed at dawn, the same name was penciled on his kitchen calendar. Fear arrived in quiet notes. In a life as a man who kept late hours, he woke to find his door open and the room scattered with footprints that were not his. He left a folded paper by the lamp that read, "Not alone," and the handwriting on the paper matched the scrawl he had seen in a different pocket. In time, the lives answered. A photograph returned with a crooked smile. A song he had hummed at midnight came back as a tune someone else whistled on a tram. The more he left, the more they left back. He became a link in an invisible chain of small mercies. He learned the faces of people he never met. He learned to carry their tenderness and their grief with the same careful hands. Sometimes a life improved after he visited. A man stopped smoking. A woman painted the last stroke on a canvas she had feared finishing. The changes were tiny and private. They were enough. Once he woke as an old woman who smelled of lavender. Her fingers trembled and she pulled a letter from the mattress seam. Inside it read, "We remember you." The handwriting matched a page where he had once saved a phone number. He pressed the paper to his chest. He wrestled with guilt. Was he stealing nights from people who deserved them? Was he responsible for the aftermath he could not see? But the small guarantees grew. A bench at a park with a coin placed on it. A photograph tucked into a book. The world answered in tiny gestures. In his own apartment, he began to leave marks too. He bent a page corner in a book he had never finished. He sharpened a pencil and left it on the windowsill. If he could not choose a life for himself, he could at least keep a place warm for the others who drifted through him. He kept leaving small proofs, because someone somewhere might wake and find them. That hope was a thin, stubborn light he would not let go. The midnight river still carried him along its currents. Sometimes he arrived cold and hollow. Sometimes he left with a new song tucked away under his tongue. The lives kept changing, and so did he. In the spaces between the beds, he kept watch. He learned that belonging wasn't a single house. It was the marks you left for one another, a whisper in the seam of a mattress, a penciled name on a calendar, the quiet proof that you had tried.